What's up, YouTube? Today we're looking at a couple of brass knuckles. First one is 9.7 ounces. Let's take another. There we go. And then this is a much thicker one. It's 14 ounces. All right. As far as where these came from LOTF.com, I believe. It's lightening out the front. These, I think, were old stock for him. And I just happened to see some of his stuff on Instagram, kind of wandered through his online store. These were at super great prices. So I was like, fuck it. Because I actually, hang on. Yup. Yeah, about half an inch. That's what I thought for that. But I wanted to get a measurement to make it real sure. 3/8 of an inch. Yeah. So these were somewhere like $30 a piece, more or less. I got these because when you get to the more expensive knuckles, the ones that have spikes tend to run a little bit more. And I like this design. I've actually seen this design previously on Etsy. It might have been from the dude, but that I got this from. Cheers, everybody, by the way. But I figured I'd pick them up. This one, though, I thought was smaller. But now that I know, that it's like a real handful, I do like these. I mean, they're business, like supposed to be a Widowmaker kind of. The reason I black them out, and it's not hard, it's super easy. You just kind of let it sit there on it for a little bit. I use hardly any at all. I apply with Q-tips and just let it set. Otherwise, because even with this, it's not really enough to stand out. But when it's all just blinged out brass, I really hate it as far as how untactical it is. This one's obviously more of a heavy hitter. 14 ounces, half an inch, probably an inch oval stalls. This one has, I would say, round stall, so probably an inch round, and maybe a little bit more than that. I'm not going to measure. In any event, it doesn't really matter. These fit just the way they should. I feel like all the knuckles that you're going to run into are going to fit a little differently. These you can press like this. You can also... But they're too big to do this goofy shit people talk about. I don't know. Look, if you're looking for a channel that's going to tell you to do dumb shit that doesn't work, you need to find yourself out. That's never going to happen. So yeah, these are great little pieces. I like these a little more conservative looking, especially now that I realize it's bigger. But the reason I have these is, let's say I'm going into a bad neighborhood, or I'm going into work a shift in a bad neighborhood. And, let's say I'm a pizza delivery guy or something like that, where I'm not. But if I was, you know what I mean? Would I tell my boss I have these? No. But you don't really need to always use these. If you watch the channel regularly, I scared off a crackhead recently with, not these, one of these two, but with very anemic and non-aggressive looking knuckles. And I just, told the person, hey, you're acting a fool on private property, and if you come over to me, you keep talking about how you're gonna kick my ass or whatever, you're screaming at me, I'm gonna punch you in the face with these knuckles on. That's the end of the deal. That's it. You're just gonna get punched. And they fucked off because they could tell, I'm being serious, right? You're breaking the law. And you're trying to intimidate me through your fucking horse shit, and you just need to get the fuck out of here. I do like on these how these two studs are a little bit more reserved. You've got one right here, a couple other that are aggressive. Just guys, it goes to show that whoever made these, actually, they were thinking about it. They weren't just like, what's funny, yeah, so I ended up showing these to my pops, and he was, like, initially, like a lot of people, why do you buy these things? And I'm like, it's legal to carry, and what if I need to punch somebody? And then he like kind of looked at them and was like, oh, these are made pretty well. And I think that's a good reaction to have from normal people, is that even if they don't like these, instruments of self-defense, that they can at least appreciate they're made well. And they weren't blacked out at the time, but blacked out, I think, for me anyway, and I don't do it perfectly, like I'm not, like I said, with fucking Q-tips, like it's not rocket science for me. I think that they're way good to go as far as like tactical. They're a little bit more reserved, low profile when they're blacked out. Like when these aren't, they're very, very shiny. And I feel like it kind of shows your hand a little bit too fragrantly. You don't, in any type of conflict, you're going to want every single advantage for as long as that you can possibly have it. And so, these being blacked out could help and should help people not see them in the dark, right? Because they don't really reflect light like they do when they're very, very shiny. And of course, one thing I've noticed is that when you carry these, the patina is part of it, is that it wears away the black off of the edges and stuff, and like it's legit. But yeah, I wanted a couple, and if you go to this dude's, I forget his fucking, listen, I'm going to post his shit in the description. I'm sorry, guy. You have an interesting name, and sometimes it makes it hard to remember. So, but yeah, obviously I have much more expensive pieces in my collection, but like I said, especially this one is like the business, dude, for sure. This would fuck you up. This one would too, though. They're both, I'm just saying, though, like, I don't want to have to throw a nice collector's piece away, even though I like these guys, obviously. I've spent the time to black them out and wax them up. If I have to smash somebody's face in and then throw these on top of a roof or into a river, that isn't heartbreaking to me. That these serve their utility. Do I want to do anything like that? No, I don't. I want people to act their age or their IQ, whichever is higher. And I'm going to act accordingly. Malcolm X once said that self-defense isn't violence, it's intelligence. And I agree with him. It's fucking stupid to believe for a second that you should ever put yourself in a situation where you're going to get your ass kicked. Things can go real wrong and you can end up permanently fucked up. So I'm going to end up, I have mace on me too. I have other things on me. I'm just saying, if it came to the part, and I've rewatched the last 10 or so, if it came to the part where it was clobbering time, like we would have worked our way up some chains of legality, so to speak, that really don't exist, but would help me in the courtroom anyway, where it's like, well, which do exist in the commercial realm of, the application of force, but between civilians, you don't really have to do this, but I would still be like, hey, said, get away from me. And then I pulled out some mace and I was like, I'm going to mace you. And then I pushed him away and I shot him some mace in his face. And then he got real mad. And by that time I had these pulled out and I punched him a few times and he fucked off. That shows a lot more thought and intention of, I want this person to leave me alone. I want to do the most minimal amount of damage to them. And it shows the other person to be very determined attacker, by the way. A judge isn't going to overlook the fact that you did everything you could before you were like, pow, pow. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, I don't want to have to use these. These are like, you know, like sailors used to call some of the shit they made life preservers. These are just pieces of urban something or other. Anyway, I gotta end this now. I gotta, you know, something's going on, some disturbance. I should go check on what's happening. In any event, hope folks have a good rest of your day. It's all Shua for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.